wander off.
No, it's just exhausted in the day. Yeah, you said you did great too.
Oh, I can't imagine.
And there must have been an update.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, this is 15 minutes late, so we can start when you're ready. Okay.
The day before, like.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So first up are the I Ask Leadership Awards. I think we have 6 juniors who probably are about to become rising seniors, not far from now.
That's right.
Are being honored for dedication and commitment to promoting healthy and responsible choices by teens in the Irvington community. I'm going to turn this over to Chris Raymond, who is the I Ask CAB chairperson.
Thank you very much. The Community Action Board is now in the 10th and final year of the federal grant that we got that funds the programs that we put together. And as part of that grant, we have to conduct a survey every 2 years that monitors student opinions on drug and alcohol use and some of their alcohol and drug abuse as well. And I'm proud to say that in the 5 surveys that we've conducted, we have seen those numbers for alcohol use and marijuana use decline, in some cases significantly. So among the senior class, alcohol use has declined by 59%, 30-day alcohol use has declined by 59%. Among 10th graders, it's declined by 73%. Marijuana use among seniors has declined by 54% in that 10-year time, and among 10th graders by 70%. That doesn't happen because we just ask kids to abstain from drug and alcohol abuse. It happens because of the programming that we put together. And I think in this last year, I've been really moved by the work that we've been able to do. And in my opinion, it's the most successful year we've had yet. So if you've been up to the high school and you've seen the stairscape up there with the inspiring words that are there on the front, right? Talking about Bulldogs for Life.
I wish my wife was here because she has that quoted on a whiteboard in our kitchen.
Oh, really?
Every line.
All right. So it's the students in CAB that came up with those sayings that you saw on the stairs there. In the fall, we did a Red Ribbon Week celebration with the red ribbons all across campus, prompting students to commit to a drug-free life. That all was conducted by the students at CAB and in the Positive Impact Club under the guidance of Ms. Gumar. In the fall, we did a dodgeball tournament with T-shirts that went out to all of the teams. It was one of the most, probably it was like actually a school-wide event, right? With the commitment that we got across the board from all 4 years was huge. In the spring, we followed that up with a volleyball tournament, and the students decided to go beyond even the drug-free message and make it about disability awareness. So each of the T-shirts from the 10 teams was a different color representing a different disability that was there. And then just a couple weeks back, around the prom, we hosted our drug-free pre-prom event for, I think that was probably like the 6th or 7th year. That is like one of the programs that has been most successful in the time that I've been there on the board. I say all of that to kind of say none of that would be possible without the work that these students have done, right? They have been here often from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, so for 4 years now they've been coming once a month to the senior center to sit and talk with us, to come up with the programming that we do, and to go out and model the results, right? To kind of model the lifestyle, model the commitment to drug-free and alcohol-free living, and to show what happens when you can, show that you can be successful and make healthy choices. So I'm here, representing them, but they're really the ones that made all of that work possible. And we wanted to kind of send them off then at the end of their junior year and recognize their leadership. So without taking any more of your time, I will bring them up and introduce them. So the first one is Allie Clapman. Congratulations. Second one is Olivia Lipp. Third is Sian Desarian. Next is Alex Shapiro. Jack Vanderspeck. Congrats. And finally, Scott Zinman.
Can I get a picture
Sure.
maybe with you?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay.
Should we get out of the picture?
Do you want us in or out?
What's that? Yeah, come on in.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. You want to do it? Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Very well done.
Thanks, Chris.
You slide, you know?
Oh, right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just telling Chris that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is the appointment of a police officer in the Irvington Police Department. And my motion is resolved to appoint Andres F. Cordero to the permanent position of police officer grade 2 at an annual salary of $88,634 effective June 10, 2024, subject to completion of a probationary period of not less than 12 weeks and not more than 52 weeks. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, a couple of announcements, actually more than a couple. First, there will be a Pride celebration on June 8th, 2024, between 3 to 5 p.m. at Main Street School. I'm assuming that's outdoors?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to say a few words about why the celebration is important, or you want me to?
Yeah, I can, do you
Okay.
prefer?
Yeah, no, please, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so we're, as everyone saw, that the pride flags are up, so that's the month of June, and we are having this celebration on Saturday, and obviously there were some questions as to why we're doing that, and I just thought it was important to note that, you know, when the board decided to put up the flags, I think it was 3 years ago. Larry, you're my historian, you gotta
Yeah,
tell
I'm
me.
looking at Larry.
I think this is the third year they're up,
It might
right?
be
I
third,
think
yeah.
so.
Yeah, and the reason for it was simply that we wanted to show that Irvington is a supportive, inclusive place where the LGBTQ community could feel safe, comfortable, and welcome. And the fact that we had to do that is why the flags are up. Because right now, this is a community that's under attack. There are right now, according to the ACLU, 515 laws attacking the LGBTQ community pending in state legislatures across the country. I'm proud to say none in New York, but you'd be surprised some of the states where these things have been introduced. We know all kinds of issues from high rates of suicide for LGBTQ teens. And in general, the idea is that for straight people, I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community, and I'm very aware of the fact that when I walk in someplace, I don't have to feel that I'm not going to be accepted because I'm straight. And yet, the members of the LGBT, I'm just going to say the community from now on, so I don't have to keep saying the letters, don't share that. And when we've had these Pride events the last couple of years, we've had people speak who grew up in Irvington and could never come out and say that they were gay. And it made them feel so warm and welcome to see that the village was being inclusive and embracing them. One saw it on his Instagram in Manhattan, he lives in Manhattan now, and took the train up to come to the event because he was so moved by, he wanted to share that. So that's what this is about. This is about anyone who feels excluded. I don't know how you could feel excluded unless you don't want the community to feel welcome here. When I see the flags, I'm not gay, but I feel great when I see them because I feel like, wow, I'm proud that we have a community, that everyone can feel to be part of this community in Irvington. And that's what the board is saying. There's nothing nefarious about it. It's just recognizing and accepting other people and telling them they're welcome here and that they're safe here.
Okay,
Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. Next announcement, there's a Juneteenth celebration, June 22nd, from 1 to 5 p.m. at Villa Luaro, which is 67 North Broadway, if you don't know it already. And there will be separate announcement, fireworks, Thursday, July 4th at Matheson Park. And I didn't know where to fit this, so it's just, there will, with regard to the deer issue, deer management issue, there will be follow-up in future meetings. And Larry and I had occasion to meet with one of the hunters that was proposed, really just to discuss what happens, and we are awaiting a drone overview just to do the count on the deer. And lastly, we are awaiting the Woods Committee's proposal for how to measure forestry growth. Okay, next item is correspondence, and we have one letter, an unusual evening, I'm not accustomed to that. A letter from Ann Altman addressed to the board, and due to the tireless collective I'm going to try to summarize this, due to tireless collective action of concerned citizens and invaluable support from Mayor Smith and the trustees who voted to eliminate gas-powered leaf blowers and sprayers from the village of Irvington over 3 years ago. It's the first time in decades that anyone here has been truly able to enjoy spring. This vital public health legislation increases the quality of life for all as it protects the rights of the most vulnerable in our community, the most affected by pollution. Workers using the machines, children who live in our schools here. Hastings has been inspired to make the same change. And there's a paragraph that sort of objects to aesthetic lawn manicures and the use of pesticides. So the reason I want to spend a moment talking about this letter is that what's going to come up shortly is a public hearing on a local law amending the nuisance chapter of the village code with respect to gas-powered sprayers. And I think this letter may have been prompted by that, so I want to be clear that what we will be looking at in this, considering in this public hearing, is that we are not changing anything relating to gas-powered leaf blowers. What we are going to do is adjust something that I think was an oversight in the first law, and that is the portable gas-powered sprayers will remain prohibited, but those that are not portable, i.e. if a truck shows up to spray a tree, for example, against beech leaf disease, and I happen to have this happen at my home periodically because I have one of the few remaining old copper beeches, you cannot reach that with a portable sprayer, an electric portable sprayer. So what we are trying to do is allow for the continued use of the truck sprayers, and I believe this law, I could be wrong because I was not on the board at the time, but I think it was primarily directed at noise and not at the content of what's in these sprayers. Because if it was aimed at content, there's no reference to that in any case. So I hope, Ann Altman, I think she recognizes that based on the content of her letter, but I will come back to that in a moment. Okay, next up is public comment, if anybody wants to say anything. Just tell us who you are and for the record.
Hello, I'm Sarah Cox from 17 North Cottonette Street, and I'm here tonight to express gratitude to the trustees, to Mayor Siegel, to Larry and his office. On behalf of two committees, the Commemorate Committee, thank you very much for the temporary sign that will be marking off the enslaved burial ground. We really, really appreciate that. And on behalf of the Juneteenth Planning Committee, I want to thank you very much for sharing enthusiasm and expenses for a great Juneteenth celebrating Madam C.J. Walker's legacy here in Irvington. And on behalf of my trans daughter, Natalie, I would also like to express deep, deep appreciation for the Pride celebration and for the Pride flags. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Anybody else? Yeah, please.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Chester. I'm a member of the Board of Managers at Downeywood Condominiums. And I wasn't sure where my comment would fit in, but since you read Mrs. Altman's letter, I figured this was an appropriate time.
Sure.
As many of you know, Downeywood's 35 acres. While we don't live on 35 acres, we have a tremendous amount of trees. And during parts of the year, they become a real hazard with the rain and snow and the difficulty in keeping up with the trees, the deciduous trees that fall and the leaf litter. We have worked tremendously hard to stay within the guidelines established by this board, not to use gas-powered equipment. We have purchased battery-operated, and I'm sure you get feedback from your own DPW people. Battery-operated equipment make it much more difficult to keep up with the job. They're just not up to the task at this point in time. We do appreciate the efforts of the board to enforce clean air in our community, but your own comments a few moments ago about getting, I'm going to call it a waiver, for lack of a better word, for a tree sprayer to get to the top of a tree. All we have asked for in the past and are asking now is that there be some consideration during seasonal time of the year to ensure that Downeywood remains a safe place for kids to walk, for motorists who aren't going to be sliding all over wet, grassy leaves. We're not asking to get a complete buy on the rules and regulations established, but rather to continue to make Downeywood a safe place. I don't know if any of you on a routine basis have friends that you go to visit, but I would hope and I would invite you to come visit me. Downeywood's a beautiful place, and we work awfully hard to keep it beautiful, to fit in with the environment of Irvington. I don't know what more I can ask of the board except for some consideration and not just to fall under a blanket law. While there are a couple of other communities in Downeywood that have multiple living units, I'm sure if somebody were here from those facilities, they would tell you they have the same dilemma. I can't tell you what they're requesting. I can tell you that Downeywood is just asking for, during the heavy seasonal periods, to have the ability to go back and use gas-powered equipment to continue to make it a safe place for people to drive, walk, and for kids to continue playing.
I'll take your comment under advisement. We won't, it's not something we can address tonight in any case.
No, but I would just like to go on record that there does appear to be some ability to amend.
Well, to be fair, I should be clear about this if I wasn't before. The change that we're making is because there is no electronic substitute that can even come close because it cannot reach 100 feet up into the trees.
I understand.
I live on 5 acres of woods, so believe me, I understand I mean, not to the extent of Downeywood, but I fully understand the difficulty, and I hear from the landscaper who comes by with electronic equipment. But 3 years were spent, I think it was adopted, roughly 3 years ago? And people were given the opportunity to object and ask for modifications, and there were endless hearings. I'm not dismissing what you're requesting, I'm just pointing out, I wasn't on the board at the time, but I know they did quite a bit to get this to this point and investigated the technology. It may not be perfect, but neither is the gas-powered equipment.
I hear what you're saying. There's no comparison. The electric equipment is so substandard at this point for large areas. If you're talking about doing your backyard, maybe. If you're talking about cleaning up the mess from 35 acres, it's impossible.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a fact. And I'm sure anybody who's in the field will verify that.
I just want to say, just from
Yeah.
a procedural point of view, that 4 years ago, the board passed the law to sunset out the gas leak blowers after 3 years.
Right.
Last year, when it was about to sunset, it was going to sunset in December, we had a hearing where anyone could come and speak, the room was packed, we had landscapers, we had people who didn't want the blowers. We must have heard from 25, 30 people. This is, I think, when Brian was still mayor at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we listened to all of that, and then we had another chance after doing all that to vote, and not to vote, to make a decision whether to stop it from sunsetting, and we chose not to. It's not that we haven't considered this or that these arguments haven't been made. We heard all these arguments already. So it's not, I don't want you to think that we're like, oh, well, this is the first we're hearing of this. I mean, there were massive, massive conversations about this.
I sat here at that meeting, and I sat next to a landscaper who made it clear his concern was financial. Ours is not financial. Ours is safety for the residents that live in
Well,
Downeywood.
to be fair, in some respects, it is financial, because if your concern is the blower is not powerful enough, you could have more blowers, more workers, more whatever, or they could be raking. So it translates to, I'm not suggesting you should go out and rake 35 acres, don't get me wrong. I'm only making the point that ultimately it translates to dollars.
Well, forgive me, I think that's a huge stretch.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
One more.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, folks. Peter Bernstein, North Continent Street. I wanted to revisit something, John, you and I spoke to on the street this weekend. The board, I know you know that I appreciated so much all the work that went into the rezoning of the, was it North Broadway District? Is that what was wound up being called?
That's the MFO, multifamily office, MFO district.
Yeah, and, and then I think many of us were really excited about the Wilder Bolter proposal, great developer, great looking project, really would have had a nice impact on affordability, affordable units. We talk about being welcoming, and I can see we're more welcoming than we were. I see more activity, more diversity on the people visiting Irvington. And, I can't help but think that people are coming to visit Irvington, coming to visit our business, coming to welcoming Irvington, going, wow, I would love to live here. The problem is now is you need to have $1 million to live here. So I'm just like going back to the objections. It seemed to me like Wilder Bolter, I could have some of these facts wrong, pulled out because they were fearful of having to defend against charges that the project was in violation of certain language was in our comprehensive plan or in code regarding parking. I don't know the exact provisions, but I know that, John, I had asked you, well, had that language been changed? Can we change it? Had it been changed? So go back. So if that language wasn't in it, would Wilder Bolter have said, okay, let's fight this? Or could the village had continued with that? So I guess my request is to make sure, as we, look back at what went wrong, that we revise language so that next time, Wilder Bolter won't be as fearful of, the legal action against the proposal.
They were also very concerned about the fact that there was opposition. They'd like to come in and there's more acceptance.
The thing is, like Mitch, I would say there's always going to be opposition. That's what NIMBY's about.
I'm saying different companies have different tolerance for that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Wilder Balter has more tolerance than most. So what I'm saying is that, we have to be proactive, right? So we have to do our share, and, whether that means, making sure the developer knows that we're firmly on their side, whether there's, whatever it would have to be. Me, I'm in favor of buying the land, publicly and having a public entity develop it and let them sue a public entity that has, has different time lengths with regard to getting things done. I just, would suggest that the way things turned out so far, they really undermined a lot of, hard work and intention of both the board, the staff, and Wilder Balter, and those of us who are pushing for, economic and racial, fair and affordable housing and diversity in Irvington. We have to be very intentional and proactive about it, otherwise it won't happen.
Thank you.
Oh, and if I could get, get a response whether, at some point, somebody could catch up with me whether there's language that should be changed and is going to be addressed.
There, as I understand it, it's the Maxon property's coming up before
Yeah,
the planning board,
the thing was that,
June 5th.
the traffic standards, they
That was-
didn't think they would be able to meet the traffic standards and that,
And those traffic standards we set.
yeah.
Yeah, so my suggestion is have we looked at amending the traffic standards so that, a project like that would meet our traffic standards, because the projects are.
Traffic standards haven't stopped other interested parties from continuing to look at that property and propose development there.
Well, but are any of them 65 affordable units?
No, it's less,
No, but the zoning isn't designed necessarily for 65 affordable units. It's
Right, but what I'm getting back
designed
to
for
is,
multifamily.
if our intention as a village, and if the intention as the board is to maximize affordable development and to address economic diversity, I mean, maybe, my understanding was that was something that the trustees intended on doing. So if that's the intention, and I think we did it, right? Didn't we allow for bonuses, land bonus?
Absolutely, and we continue to
So we
do
do it, so if there's an obstacle for what we're trying to do, and it's under our control, we should change it. We should look at changing it. To fail at something that you had some control over and not go back and see whether you could change the thing that made it fail, it's just, to me, it just seems
we
like
can certainly
cross
look at
purposes.
the language that surrounds the traffic piece, but based on our conversation, Larry and I had a conversation, not that I'm not the village attorney and neither are you, but the language isn't quite as restrictive as people may believe, which is why, I think it was your point you just made, that why there are other developers coming back to take a look at this property. If they thought they couldn't, if it was an insurmountable problem, they wouldn't waste their time.
Yeah, but if the other developers are coming back with something that they think there'll be less opposition to, then they're maybe willing to take their chances more, so, when we're proposing something that has such a NIMBY response to it, we have to be extra proactive in trying to
I don't
make
disagree with that, but to your point, if I make it really easy on the traffic point or other aspects of this, I'm not saying only affordable housing. I mean, you may ask me to do that, but the point is, I'm making it open for everybody. And you, at least based on the other.
Well, you have to look at other things too. You have to look at what the set aside is, and when the set aside is appropriate. You have to look at, overall, what I'm saying is, you have to, because history has shown in Westchester that, how should I say, having good intentions isn't enough to get things built. It really takes, proactive, intentional, to get anything more than, a handful of units, and even affordable, right? We have that discussion, we had a discussion here about what's affordable. Is 120% of AMI, Westchester County AMI affordable, right? There's that dynamic too.
The board
So
did
there's,
pay for a traffic study, so that we could see a lot of things, including that, as to what we're really dealing with. And also there's the whole Route 9 project going from Hastings up to Sleepy Hollow that's gonna change the entire landscape of what Route 9 looks like for that stretch. So there's a lot, the traffic thing isn't so when Wild to Balter came, there were 2 technicalities, and we did agree to change those, and those meetings turned into a referendum on the whole thing, not just on the 2 little things, but we did it and we changed it. Because those were, like you said, like, well, this is just, we want affordable housing, this is just like a silly technicality where it's measured from, so we did that. But traffic isn't just like a technicality, it's like a legitimate issue that we're dealing with completely independent of the affordable housing. It's not something that's, like, it's not like a typo, you know what I mean?
Let me give you some assurance that we are going to look at broader issues and perhaps not just in the location you're thinking of, but others, in terms of zoning that's favorable to affordable housing and to housing in general, transit-oriented housing. So it's not, it's on our radar.
Yeah, I would just say, like, on that, I would also say that, like, it's great to do the things that are gonna take 10 years to do, like, move the DTW, build this,
You and I
make a
talked
deal
about how we respect the
with the new owner of the,
I can see some
but there's nothing like having an appropriate piece of land that doesn't have to do any trading, that could have been built with a beautiful Wilder-Walter development, and it falling through. So I just think we need to, like, review, how that happened, why that happened, and what we
Okay.
can do to make sure that that doesn't happen again if a similar thing happens.
That's fair.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right. The consent agenda, which is to approve minutes of the board from its meeting on May 2024, salary modification for personnel in the library, approval of 2023-24 budget transfers and modifications, appointment of part-time positions for the Department of Public Works, and appointment of personnel in Rec and Parks Department. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Yours, the motion.
Mine's the motion, I'll take a second.
Second.
I almost got that right.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna open a public hearing, or actually, I need a motion to open I'm gonna make the motion to open a public hearing to consider a local law amending the nuisance chapter of the village code with respect to gas-powered sprayers. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we sort of talked about this before, but if anybody has comments on the local law, now would be the time, and if you want to give us a little.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
say, this is really a clarification. This
Yeah.
isn't really a change in the law. It wasn't a clarification.
Yeah.
The understanding always was that you're talking about the portable things. And then the way it read, it was, the way it read, it would have prohibited the big sprayers on
Right.
top of trucks, and that was never the intention. So this clarifies that it doesn't include
Okay.
that. That's it. Not really a change.
All right, any comments? Then I'm gonna make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I just have to find it on my computer screen. Okay, then I'm gonna make a motion, resolve to adopt the local law amending the nuisance chapter of the village code with respect to gas-powered sprayers. This, of course, is in the form that was presented in the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Contract approvals. So the first is, it's really 2 agreements with A1 Computer, one's with the police department and the other covers all other village functions, even those that are not directly located in Village Hall, but use the backbone of the village system in Village Hall. Any questions on any of these? And if my summary wasn't good enough, you're welcome to.
No, that was good.
Okay, then my motion is resolved to authorize the village administrator to execute agreements with A1 Computer Services, Inc. for computer support services for the village of Irvington and for the Irvington Police Department for an annual payment fee of $61,545. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is a contract with Zambelli Fireworks Manufacturing Company for our July 4th fireworks, which I will eventually get to as I scroll through them.
That's a really long contract.
Yeah, I know.
I'm still scrolling. All right, I got that.
Okay.
I still prefer electronic to paper, but when there's like 40-page contracts, it's
I'm
just.
with you. Okay, so there are obviously some things that the village administrator is going to need to fill in with regard to the rain date, which would be the 5th. And they asked for all kinds of background information and contact information, which I'm sure that you can do and the rec department can do. So I'm going to make a motion to, the motion is resolved to approve a contract with Zambelli Fireworks Manufacturing Company for a fireworks display on July 4, 2024 in the amount of $25,000 and to authorize the village administrator to execute the contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do they send a couple in a photo that over the fireworks? Or we pay extra?
All right, next is approval of a consultant agreement, and this covers the marketing for the, online marketing, I believe it is, for the theater commission. And the my motion is resolved to approve the consultant agreement with Brad Ogden for consulting services relative to the Irvington Theater Marketing Project and authorize the village administrator to execute said agreement. Before I look for a second, this is, pretty sure this is the form that's already in existence, and we're just rolling it over for another year.
Yes.
Okay.
And can I note also that like, even though the theater's been closed, he's had phenomenal success in building, engagement, followers, like all
Yeah.
those things across social media. He's been very good at this.
Yep. And that actually goes to the question I asked the first time I saw this, which was, why are we doing this? We're supposed to, and that was the right response then, and it's the right response now. So I'll take a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And, okay, now for the biggie. This is approval of a contract with HVEA engineers for the Downingwood Broadway Culvert Project. And Larry gave me a fascinating description of how we actually came to HVA engineers, which is they are on the state-approved list and they can comply with the federal requirements. See, I was actually paying attention.
Yes, you were actually interested.
So and this, of course, this is sort of the engineering aspect of the project that will ultimately result in the Downingwood Broadway culvert. And I think, also from memory of our recent conversation, that ballpark, the construction is probably done around October of 2025.
Yeah, summer to fall of 2025, but
And this is one we got the big grant for, right?
it's one of the big grants. It's the second of the two that we got. One was for Harriman Road, this was
Right.
in front of Downingwood.
I remember it was a lot of money, but right?
Yes.
$1 million.
Yeah, 1.4 million out of a 1.8 million contract. I think.
Okay, so,
Wait, John, could I
Yeah,
just say?
of course.
I had made this comment, and it's not corrected here. I think if you just in the beginning of the contract, the very first page, it says, it refers to the village of Irvington as municipality.
Yes.
But throughout the contract, it talks about sponsor.
Yes.
So before you sign it, I would just cross out municipality and
Okay.
make it sponsor.
Got it.
okay,
Thank you. Yes, you did do that, and I apologize for not
Okay.
picking that up.
no problem.
And sponsor is the common word that the state uses.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird, usually it is
I know, that's-
municipality, but rather than redoing the whole contract, just change it there and you're okay.
Right. Got it.
All right, the motion is resolved to approve a contract with HVEA engineers in an amount not to exceed $275,916 plus reimbursable costs not to exceed $60,800 for design services for the Downingwood Broadway Culvert Project and to authorize the village administrator to execute the contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is appointment of the Climate Smart Communities Task Force, and I have to have the name when I get to the resolution.
So,
Yeah. If you get to it, you can tell me what page it is that I have to go
all right,
to.
here it is, I found it, it's it's the actual document,
Yeah,
119.
thank you. Okay.
You
All
don't
right.
access bookmarks on your PDF viewer? So I think there's bookmarks there.
Probably. Oh, I don't have it show, let's see. No, I don't actually, but I will figure that out for the next time.
There you go.
Keep, not make people wait. Okay, so, I think we established the committee already. So the resolution is resolved to appoint the following members to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force with a term to expire in 2024. Charlotte Binns, Coordinator, Jan Blair, Member, Nicola Coddington, Member, Leola Spreck, Member, Abby Diamond, Member, Juliette Hartel, Member, Warwick Norton is a Member, Bill Estes is a Member, Bruce Bell is a Member, Eileen Arbach, Member, Todd Wilson, Member, Sarah Rubinow, Member, Lisa Antonelli, Member, and I guess Arlene, you're the trustee liaison, and Larry, you're leading in as village administrator. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We are adopting a policy on the use of low embodied carbon concrete.
And all these are to help us towards getting the grant money from the LEED certification, right?
It's Climate Smart certification. There's no direct grant money associated with that other than the status of it and being useful in future grant applications.
Gotcha.
All right, this is
Just
for
bottom lining it.
Yes.
all right, here's our resolution. Whereas the Village of Irvington is committed through its climate action plan and adoption of the New York State Climate Smart Communities Pledge to implement policies and undertake all possible measures to reduce its contribution to human-caused climate change, including reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And whereas embodied carbon refers to the carbon emissions generated as a result of the manufacturing and transportation of materials and the construction of building and infrastructure projects. And whereas cement, the critical ingredient that gives concrete its strength, is responsible for up to 7% of the world's carbon dioxide emissions, mainly through a chemical process called calcination, as well as for the use of energy and production derived from the combustion of fossil fuels. And whereas low embodied carbon concrete is defined as concrete that has been verified as measured by a global warming potential metric to embody lower carbon emissions as compared to the baseline embodied carbon emissions of conventional concrete. And whereas lowering the embodied carbon emissions from concrete can be achieved through diverse methods and processes. And whereas the quality of concrete may be improved through these techniques, the cost compared to traditional methods is offset by lower materials costs, and the use of low embodied concrete is established in the construction sector and has been successfully utilized for the construction of building and infrastructure projects by several municipalities. And whereas the Village of Irvington has the opportunity to be a leader in New York State in promoting the use of this technology, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Irvington encourages and will work to promote the use of low carbon concrete products in building and infrastructure projects involving concrete, where the utilization of low embodied carbon concrete does not significantly increase the cost of or delay project completion, and where utilization does not compromise either construction integrity or public safety. Such promotion could include, but may not be limited to, identifying local low embodied carbon concrete product options, making embodied carbon concrete educational materials more accessible, recognizing local projects utilizing low embodied carbon concrete products, and sharing Irvington's program successes and lessons learned with other towns and local governments in the state and region. Do I have a motion to approve? A motion to second, sorry. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, we did, by the way, announce that there will be a program there, but you can come back to it when we get to
The announcement.
yeah. Okay, so this is let's see, first approval of the revised purchasing policy to incorporate green purchasing. And I'm not gonna go through the whole policy, but the bottom line is that the marks, I assume, show the revisions. And similar to the concrete policy, there are outs for products and services that do not perform as required. So I think this is certainly a worthwhile addition to the existing purchasing policy. And the motion I will make is resolved to approve the purchasing policy dated June 3rd, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is the approval of a facility license with Villa Lawaro LLC, 67 North Broadway. And this is in connection with our Juneteenth celebration on June 22nd. The resolution is resolved to approve a facility license with Villa Lawaro LLC for the use of 67 North Broadway for a village event on June 22nd, 2024, and to authorize the village administrator to execute said license. That's the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. It's also quite a long agreement, but particularly when the fee is paid.
I know, really. Stage 140.
Got it, I got it. Okay, all right, Larry, you've made your point that we have to get the book ordered. Okay, this is an appointment to the Theater Commission. Resolved to appoint the following person to the Theater Commission with a term to expire December 2026. Nicole Goldberg Henry is a member. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have had a resignation from the ZBA. And before I do the resolution, first I want to thank Arthur Semetis for his work over a number of years on the ZBA, and I think possibly on some other committees, but other real estate related committees. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, I don't
but
remember,
in any case, he's
other than ZBA, yeah.
much appreciated. And I know I think he's moving with his family out of Irvington, so he will be missed. But thank you, Artie. And also on that note, we are always looking for people for planning board, ZBA, and the ARB. So if anybody's interested out there, or you folks know of anybody, pass the name along. The resolution is resolved to accept with regret the resignation of Arthur Semetis as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, effective May 31, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
What if we don't accept?
You, I think Artie would be here fairly quickly, knowing him. Okay, so,
Original law license first.
that's right, yeah. A reference to a law license. Yeah. Next up, reports of board standing committees and officers. I'm going to take the liberty of doing one first, which is that there are 2 awards recipients at this year's Westchester Recreation and Park Society's Awards and Scholarship Luncheon on June 14th. Dr. Larry Lonke is going to get the Public Service Award for an individual for his incredible dedication to the department. And it's given to somebody who's provided unselfish service on behalf of residents of Westchester County or any part thereof, and in the interest of recreation, parks, conservation, and other related community services, and has made an outstanding contribution for at least 3 years since 2021. Congratulations in advance.
Well deserved.
And the second person is CJ Riley, and the Irvington Woods Park will receive the Austin Welch Pierre Award for the work, in parentheses here it says, which is one of the big awards, for the work done in identifying 300-year-old trees, gaining inclusion in the old growth forest network. To receive the Pierre Award, the individual or organization should have completed in the year before selection a piece of outstanding creative work or have demonstrated leadership of excellence, having an impact on recreation and parks participation, not merely county or statewide, but even regionally, nationally, and internationally. So congratulations also to CJ. And next up, I guess, you folks want to do the trustee report?
Got a quick update from the building department. New applications to the planning board and building department are up. They're still working through that base address information issue with the new permitting software. So it sounds like the theater is coming along and they're seeing great progress every week. And then, they're spending time making sure that some of the larger projects aren't causing issues for neighbors. That's it.
Well, first of all, thank you for your congratulations. But when you think about the other Irvington recipients, CJ, it makes you wonder what they're thinking about.
So you put in a lot of time.
So just a few announcements from Rec. It was a wonderful Girl Scout event last weekend. The community had a sleepover and a day filled with activities at the O'Hara Nature Center, as quoted by Scout Leader Catherine Lark. This annual event inspires the girls to continue in Girl Scouts and to love the outdoors and the Irvington Woods Park. It's a Girl Scout tradition. 14 students in the Irvington Changing Forest Research Program at the O'Hara Nature Center, led by CJ, a teaching fellow in the Harvard Forest Schoolyard Ecological Research Program, have been invited to participate in the Harvard Student Symposium, Data Jam, at Harvard Forest in Petersham, Mass. On Thursday, June 6th. Harvard Forest is the ecological field research station of Harvard University. The O'Hara Nature Center was selected for this event due to the exciting data collected in our Our Changing Forest Citizen Research Program. Irvington students will also serve as near-peer mentors for participating fifth grade students. Again, just another example of the work of CJ, and I'm not sure if a note was sent to everyone, but there are also quite a number of parent volunteers who are going along on this trip, volunteering time and food for the students. The village has just received a Growing Tennis Together grant award from USTA Eastern. Together, the USTA Eastern and the Rec and Parks Department will be sponsoring a family tennis day on the courts on June 22nd, 10 to 1. A community event registration will not be required. And last of all, June 14th is the last day to register for day camp.
The library has some really cool things. I always say to subscribe to the newsletter. I just want to point out there's a free tabletop and board game night for adults at the library on Thursday, June 6th. The Thursday evening book club, Thursday, June 20th, and there's a Zoom event on June 25th, The Making of the Birdcage, presented by St. George Living History Productions. So, sign up for the Irvington Library. There's so much great stuff there. Take advantage of it.
So from DPW, they install a catch basin at 64 Sycamore Lane, remove tree stumps at numerous locations. DPW Assistant General Foreman attended a Con Edison training. DPW General Foreman attended the Stormwater MS4 Management training. And they assisted the Bulldog Gallery Committee. So I do want to thank DPW for putting out the basis for the Bulldog Gallery Committee. And then from the Bulldog Gallery Committee, the Bulldogs are out, and yesterday was a huge success. It was such a fun day.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It was really fun, and I think people really enjoyed it. I walked all the way down, I spoke to all of the store owners that were participating, and I think just people were so excited that so many people were out on the streets, and even people who were not signed up to participate actually participated, and that was kind of nice as well. The kids had a lot of fun, so it was really good. It was a really good day. And then I know you mentioned Villa Luaro. The Juneteenth event is very exciting, but all of the spots for the historical walkthrough sort of got filled up in less than 24 hours.
I think that's a sign that maybe there need to be more.
189. Well, it's 189 spots, so maybe more events there, but we will probably we'll have a standby line because it's an Eventbrite ticket event, so we will try to accommodate people as we go on, but there's also we have a lot going on that day, so people should come by and enjoy the grounds, and there's going to be music and dancing and a program to name Madam C.J. Walker Way. So I think it'll be a great day, and hopefully we'll get killed for that because they're so windy.
That's great. You should actually also, with regard to the Bulldogs, thank your spouse.
Oh yes, my spouse. Who's my spouse still? I don't know how much longer that's gonna last.
I watched him
No,
carry-
from the other
carrying
way,
a lot of
Peter. Not
things,
my way,
setting
the other
things
way
up.
around. The other way around, I think he's done with my shenanigans.
Okay, village administrator.
Just a couple of Broadway reminders. That it appears that the state is going to be paving Broadway probably by the middle of June. We don't have an exact date yet. When we do, we'll put out an announcement. That paving will be done overnight, as you might expect. But we'll put an announcement about that. And also a reminder about the new traffic pattern up in Tarrytown by Interstate 287.
They've already chased me across the, I was trying to bike up there, and they said, you can't be on this side, you gotta be on
Yeah.
the other side.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight up there for
Yeah.
probably 6 weeks or so, maybe more, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully 6 weeks, that's what they told us.
Clerk treasurers?
Tax bills have been mailed out.
Got it today.
Yeah, me too.
So those are due back by end of day, July 1st without penalty. And it's only the one bill that gets sent out for the two payments. It's only one bill per year.
Second one is December.
Yes, December 31st.
I have one more announcement that I just got from the Green Policy Task Force. So they have a climate talk on Wednesday at the library about global packaging reuse standards. And that is both on the greenirvington.org website, and I'm sure the library website.
It is.
Yeah. So if people
I
want
figured you were
more
gonna cover it,
info.
so I didn't mention it.
Yeah, no, I didn't get it on
Yeah,
phone,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, village attorney?
I don't have a report, but I'd like to talk to the board for just a few minutes after the meeting.
Sure. Not a problem. Then, public comment. Anybody on the line? Okay. Then, I will make a motion to adjourn. How's that? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.